Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Alright, today I'm going to show you a build for the French destroyers. I guess you call it a French cloaking device. We're going to be in the Tier 3 Bourrasque. Here's our commander, Philippe Auboyneau. He is the key individual to make this build. You can't really recreate it with any other commander, at least in the French ships. You may be able to recreate it in other nations, but I don't think it's as useful in them. Primarily, you're doing it in the French destroyers because you only have an engine boost. You don't have a smoke screen. And you should also throw on that common battle booster and some type of camouflage. Real quick, looking at the Bourrasque here. Hit points, it's got 4 guns. They do really nice damage that's bolstered by Auboyneau's base trait, so the more levels you have in him, the more HE damage the ship is going to do. Got some torpedoes, almost no AA, pretty fast, and a good rudder shift time. And the concealment is 5 kilometers, which for a Tier 3 ship is not that great, even though they gave it a rating of 100. All right, here's the build, though, and pay most attention to our skill choices in row 2, 4, and the legendary skill. All right, we didn't choose subsurface venture because that hurts the reload time of the guns, just kind of testing it out. So we discontinued the use. Oh, I guess we didn't. Never mind. We're going to use it. All right, go all out. That's the big one. Detectability while engine boost is active, minus 20%. So that is huge. We're going to keep perceptive on. And destroyer be destroyed, an increase in destroyer speed, and give me speed, a speed boost when you're close to the enemy, and an extra engine boost. So essentially you have 3 charges of what I'm calling a French cloaking device. Okay, now one of the instances where we use it, it isn't going to do anything because we're shooting the entire time. You'll see the detectability drop down, but all you need to know is when we hit that speed boost, our max detectability drops from 5 to 4 kilometers on the water. And that is huge when you're in a large, not very concealable destroyer that doesn't have a smokescreen. So you could use this to get away if you wanted to. If you weren't shooting and you were spotted, you could hit your speed boost and turn away and really drop your concealability. Or, you know, you could use it to set up a torpedo run, because your torpedoes are not especially lengthy at this tier. Now keep in mind you could use this same concealment cloaking device build for any French destroyer, although I would not recommend it on the Eagle, simply because that has a smoke screen available to you. Alright, so we're moving out here. I want to say I think this map is called Ring. It is a capture the base match. And I also want to say I have no idea if we're top tier or not. So the Bourrasque, I think, is a very underrated destroyer. I made a video a very, very long time ago when aircraft carriers first came out called Hunting Carriers with Bourrasque. If I remember, I will try to link it up here. So we've got a destroyer out here for a second. He popped up. We've got a Phoenix. And we've got a Kaiser, so I just torped out and turned away. You know, I'm not trying to fight all 3 ships at once. Anytime you are in a destroyer, regardless of what tier it is, if more than one ship can see you and shoot at you, chances aren't good for you in that encounter. So we switched to armor piercing. If you're not familiar with the French line, French destroyers have really nice armor piercing. So we're going to engage the Phoenix here, a particularly soft-skinned ship, with our armor-piercing shells, and we're going to start out by totally missing. Although we did get a torpedo strike on the Kaiser, as you can see there. So, Kaiser moving in. We gave up on the Phoenix for now. We're going to try to damage the Kaiser, and that is not being successful either. And I believe, out of frustration, we're going to run into an island. And we do. Yep, we sure do. We're going to use that opportunity. You can see I hit my speed boost. You can see the concealment immediately drops, and I'm going to use that opportunity to torp out at the Kaiser. So here's a great example. I ran into an island. I was kind of up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, And I created a paddle for myself by lowering my detectability. Alright, so we still got the speed boost on. I'm planning my next attack already. I am kind of gonna just say, hope those torpedoes kill that guy. We'll shoot a little bit at the Dursky here. We do kill that guy. Devastating strike, kill number 1 on the Kaiser. Now we are engaging the Dursky, so you can see it doesn't matter that our concealment was once 4 kilometers because we're shooting. That removes the benefit of the cloaking device. But we are keeping our rate of fire up on the Dursky. He is a level 2 Russian destroyer. In theory, we should be able to kill him, but he threw up a smoke screen and ran away. He also launched some torpedoes, which I will easily be able to dodge. And I'm just maneuvering closer to be able to put these torpedoes out at one of these other 2 ships. We're going to turn really quickly and get some torpedoes out there on the Phoenix, who turned in or away to avoid us, but he's turning to give us broadside. So after the salvo of HE, we switch to armor piercing. Don't sleep on the French guns. You know, I think there's a lot of similarity between French and Russian destroyers. You can see no problem getting a Citadel there. And I bet the new Italian destroyers won't have the number of guns, but they'll have similar shell characteristics. As you can see, more Citadels on the Phoenix. And yeah, I was thinking about throwing some torpedoes, but I'm just going to let the armor piercing do the work. Another hit to Citadel, kill number 2. Alright, Dursky is still out there. Got some rando torpedoes coming in here from somewhere. We have switched back to armor piercing. We are closing on the Dursky, and I don't think it's going to go well for him. As you can see, French high explosive, especially with our commander, Auboyneau's base trait, or also the base commander as well, although he can't do the stealth build, the cloaking device build that we're discussing here. So I ran into an island, and by not backing up, I avoided his torpedoes. However, he will not avoid mine. Kill number 3. Alright, that was a fine bit of luck there. Alright, so we have the Kaiser back over here. And I don't think there are any ships back the way the Dursky was, so I'm already focused on my next target. And that's what you got to do. You got to plan your movements ahead of time if you want to have a successful match here. Although, I'll admit it, tiers 2 and 3, you have a little more leeway in what you're doing. But it's always a good idea to plan your next ship you're going to go after as soon as you get that kill sewed up, so you don't waste a lot of movement. Now, here is the Komsomolets, the tier 3 cruiser, or I'm sorry, aircraft carrier. So I was thinking, oh, let's go for the Kaiser. Oh, the Kaiser can wait. The Kaiser can wait. And why I think for French ships, French destroyers especially, if the aircraft carrier is close, if it is a close distance between either another surface ship, not a destroyer, and the carrier, due to your low AA rating in the French destroyers, I think taking out the carrier is a good move. Okay, so we're going to turn, we're going to get some torpedoes out, and we're going to give him a modified spread, not right on top of each other. We're just going to stretch out a little bit, and we're going to see what those torpedoes do. Now, the tier 3 Soviet carrier is not as disturbing as the higher tier carriers with the skip bombs, but again, I just do not want my game derailed by having to deal with the airplanes and almost no AA. Alright, as you can see, our legendary skill kicked in, so that's a 10% skill speed increase. However, we are still on the reload, but a couple of torpedo strikes, 3 torpedo strikes, we unlock that high caliber. And we're going to fire up the Komsomolets with our armor-piercing shells. He has given us a little bit of an angle. You want to aim for the middle rear of the ship. And there you can see another hit to Citadel there. And some more shells out. Sayonara means goodbye. Kill number 4. Alright, we are officially on the hunt for a Kraken, ladies and gentlemen. In the Bourrasque. We hit our speed boost, not because we're being shot at, but because we need to close the distance to the other ships. The Phoenix out there gets killed. We got a Karlsruhe. And we got a destroyer left to deal with in our French cloaking device build video. I really encourage you to use this. I really do. Don't get me wrong. It's very tempting, Philippe Auboyneau, to do a torp build, especially with some of the ships that have a very close detectability to max torpedo range, like the Colbert, maybe even the new Tier 4 Premium Sirocco. I say new, relatively new, French destroyer premium. And I really think the solution to these builds where you don't want to give up perceptive, but you do want to have good concealment, and you don't necessarily want to give up hit points with fragile threat, is to use this cloaking device build with Auboyneau. So as you can see, I'm ruining my own concealment here by engaging the Karlsruhe, but I think everyone will tell you the Karlsruhe is a very dangerous cruiser. So we're going to have to be super, super aggressive. We've got the armor piercing loaded. We've got torpedoes in the water. We're going to force him to turn back. He does turn back, and in doing so, he's going to give us access to that broadside. Now, I should have waited to shoot those. And those hits really didn't do what I wanted them to. But here he's going to turn back, presumably, to get torpedoes out. I'm watching for the torpedoes. We are trying to get Citadel hits here. The torpedoes are out, but here's the great thing. These French speed boosts are very long lasting, so we have the ability to drive through the torpedoes. Essentially, we sped past their point of impact due to the speed boost. Alright, kind of close quarters, getting it done here. He is at an angle. The armor piercing isn't working. I switched to HE. Meanwhile, the entire time, I'm pivoting my bow, getting torpedoes out when we can for a reload. But at the end of the day, even though there are torpedoes all over the place, we're going to use our high explosive to get it done. There it is, Kraken Unleashed. And look, those torpedoes probably would have killed him too, maybe. Maybe, I hope so. Alright, so hey, we're not satisfied with a Kraken. If there's another ship out there we can kill, we want to kill it. We really, really do. Alright, here's a V-170, another Tier 3 destroyer. This one is German. The thing to know about this destroyer, if you're not familiar with it, it has twin launchers on the sides, and it has individual front launchers on either side of the bow. So when one of these things is coming at you bow on, and you are broadside, kind of like a T shape, then you should be worried, because he can front launch torpedoes at you. And in theory, you would be pretty helpless if he was doing that. And he could thread your torpedoes by going in between the gaps. So V-170 and its premium counterpart, the G-101. Front launching torpedoes, very, very dangerous if you haven't dealt with those already. But we are just trying to cap off this game with the 6-pack. And I really think there should be a different award for a 6-pack. I really think there should be a different award for an 8-pack or a 7-pack. I mean, you know, they had Devastators and different medals in World of Tanks. I'm not saying you need to have one for 6, but maybe there should be one for 7 kills. You know, better than a Kraken. Anyway, we're going for what I call a Kraken Plus here. So coming around the corner, you can see on the mini-map, the Phoenix is going into the cap. Here, again, we're just too fast for these torpedoes. We're going to launch one into the middle of the smoke screen and then a wide-angle launch to kind of encompass it. My theory in doing this is to try to drive the enemy destroyer out of the smoke screen in order to avoid the torpedoes, and hopefully myself and or the Phoenix will be able to finish them off. So we're going to enter the cap. The Phoenix is already in the cap, if I'm looking at the screen correctly. So it's not a giveaway to anyone that we were in the cap at this point. But then he finishes the Phoenix off. Look at that. So we are pretty much all on our lonesome over here. I don't know where the destroyer is. I can't see the minimap to see where my teammate is at. Anyway, V-170 pops up. Remember, you got those 4 good French guns. There is a really nice hit to reset the cap. Also disables his torpedo launchers, and he just can't keep up with the rate of fire. There's the Confederate medal. We should have gotten that the first salvo. WTF. And there it is, kill number 6. All right. Let's go to the victory screen. My favorite screen. We got the high caliber medal, devastating strike medal, Confederate medal, and of course the Kraken Unleashed. We ended up with 94,631 total damage. Looks like 8 torpedo strikes, 6 kills, and 9 citadels, and 3 cap defended flags. You know, the silver ink rate under 200,000, 4728 ship XP and commander XP in the Bourrasque. And at this tier, 2s and 3s, I will take that result all day long, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the French cloaking device build. Here we are on the top of the scoreboard, 2101 base XP with those 6 big kills. And here's the best part, folks. Not only did we get a Kraken, not only did we get a Kraken Plus, but we denied the V-170 a Kraken. Yes, that is the best kind of Kraken. When in getting it, you deny an enemy ship a Kraken. Sorry, guy. Somebody had to come out on top. And quite frankly, the Bourrasque is straight up a better destroyer than the V-170 with the cloaking device build. Now, I'm not saying you should take this into ranked, but if you did, more power to you. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. And I will see you on the next one, boys and girls. Thanks so much.